You know, it was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it.
Is anybody still left wondering why Donald Trump was attacked in an assassination attempt? By a Republican, by the way, not by a Democrat. On screen here is a man named Mark Robinson. He is currently the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, I believe, and he's running for governor of North Carolina. Just listen to some of the things that Mark Robinson has had to say. This one is from early July 2024. See if maybe this connects and gives us insight into why our political discourse would be to the point where people are pulling out guns and shooting each other.
You know, it was a time when we used to meet evil on the battlefield, and guess what we did to it? We killed it. We didn't quibble about it. We didn't argue about it. We didn't fight about it. We killed it.
Starting to see why we're in a situation in the United States where killing is an acceptable form of public discourse to some people.
When the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, what did we do? We flew to Japan, and we killed the Japanese Army and Navy.
And citizens and civilians, but okay, go on.
We didn't even quibble about it. I didn't start this fight, you did. You wanted to be left alone, you should have left me alone. We didn't argue and capitulate and talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't fight the Nazis that hard. No, they're bad. Kill them.
And of course, who are the Nazis in his head? Me, you. People who are to the left of hunting the homeless for sport. People who think that that's wrong. Even if that isn't who the Nazis are you starting to see why we're in this position? Are you starting to see who is ramping up this rhetoric? Who is building this political environment into a gigantic fire and bringing it to a boil? Is anybody still left wondering why Donald Trump was attacked in an assassination attempt? By a Republican, by the way, not by a Democrat. For the record, a lot of assassination attempts like that aren't for any logical reason. A lot, like John Hinckley Jr. tried to kill Reagan, just got out of jail recently, by the way. He was trying to impress Jodie Foster. It wasn't even a political statement. So it's not even like people are trying to make political statements necessarily, but rhetoric like this is creating an environment in which it's okay to kill people in their heads.
Kill them. Some liberal somewhere is going to say that sounds awful. Too bad.
Well, it's not that it sounds awful. You're just a scumbag is all. And you're creating a dangerous environment. Like, I'm not offended by it or something. You think I'm offended? No, you're just a scumbag. You got people clapping in the background for this. Dude, are you kidding me?
Get mad at me if you want to.
Like, I'm not mad. You're just a scumbag, bro.
Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it.
Any wonder why there was an assassination attempt against Trump? I can't believe there hasn't been a successful assassination attempt against Biden, or very nearly successful, like there was against Trump. I would be willing to bet there are assassination attempts against Biden practically every single day that are thwarted by the Secret Service.
It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity. We have wicked people doing wicked things, torturing and murdering. And it's time to call out those guys in green.
This is very obviously a call to violence, right?
Go have them handle it. With those boys in blue, and have them go handle it.
The boys in blue, the police. Get the police out there to go kill people. That's what he's saying right now. This is how we got here. This is how we reached this political environment. But through this kind of thing, and through the things that Donald Trump says.
We need to start handling our business again, because, guys,
and handling our business means murdering people.
What I said at the beginning about you getting in your cars, listening to your radio, putting on what you want to put on, and saying what you want to put on, keep thinking about it. Don't you feel it slipping away?
You think you're not going to be able to say whatever you want to say? You can be a Nazi scumbag to your heart's content, and nobody is going to try to stop you, okay? Go nuts. It's when you move from rhetoric to real-world violence that it becomes a problem. There are no PC police. That department of the government does not exist, nor will it ever. What is wrong with him?
Don't you feel it slipping away? The further away we get from the concept of 1776 and why we declared our independence and how we declared our independence.
The point is, he's calling for violence. He's calling for violent revolution. Any wonder how we got here?
Quick interjection, this won't take long, I promise. I'd appreciate it if you watched to the end of the video, or at least a couple extra seconds, because YouTube bases its algorithm off of watch time. The more watch time a video has, the further the video will go. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I'm selling my book, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses, 400 pages, and my second book, 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, which is about 80 pages. And you can find them both there on the website. Audio form, ebook form, whatever. It's about my experiences within the religion and the history of the religion generally. The 100 questions are intended to challenge your religious leader, so I'd appreciate it if you give it a read. Okay, back to the video.
If you don't know who this guy is, let me give you a little bit of context. I covered this clip like years ago, I think, at this point. Just listen to some of the ideas he has to lay down, if you will.
Let's go back and let's look at just a couple of examples in history, big examples in history. The writing of our own Constitution, when our Constitution was being crafted, it's told that those men, when they could no longer go further on their own wisdom, they went across the street to church and they prayed for wisdom from God.
No, that did not happen. That is made up. The Founding Fathers were secularists. The United States is the first big example of a secular government in the world. There have been smaller ones that popped up throughout history, but the U.S. is the great experiment in secularism, and it was successful until extremists tried to take it over. It's still successful at this moment. We'll see if that stands. This is from early October 2021.
It is flat out child abuse. Take your children and tell them they have to attend school. Don't have a choice. And then some of them will tell them they don't want you to have a choice where they go to school. You have to send your children here to school.
Yes, that's important. Kids need to learn to read and write. Are you shitting me?
Then when they get there, what do they teach them?
Reading and writing?
Teach them a bunch of stuff about how to hate America.
What does he think is going on in classrooms? I mean, granted, it's been like 70 years since he's been in a classroom probably, but that's not what's happening, okay? That's not going on in classrooms. Get a grip on reality.
Teach them a bunch of stuff about why they're racist. Teach them a bunch of stuff about transgenderism and homosexuality. I'm saying this now, and I've been saying it, and I don't care who likes it. Those issues have no place in a school.
Sure. You know what? I agree. Teachers should not be teaching about how to be gay or trans or whatever. Fine, okay? That's not happening. But if a kid is gay, what are you going to do? Ban him from going to school or something? People are gay sometimes. That's just how it works.
There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth.
So he's saying that he believes teachers are teaching kids to be gay and trans. It's not just like, oh, the teacher has like a pride flag up or something. He thinks that they're being taught about this.
Genderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. And if you don't like it that I called it filth, come see me and I'll explain it to you.
I understand it. You're just a scumbag is all. I get that.
It's time for us to stop letting these children be abused at these schools. And it's not going to happen till the people of God stand up and demand different.
So he's a lieutenant governor and he's a pastor of a church, and obviously inextricably melds the two. Of course. He's also talked about Candace Owens, believe it or not. This is from 2020. Listen to this. This is recorded in a secret meeting.
This idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees?
This is an interesting point, okay? Think about this. The origin of the terms left and right, it comes from the French Revolution. So after the French helped the United States in our revolution, against Britain in 1776 to 1882 or something, France had a revolution after that, 1789. There's a difference between revolutions and dictatorships. In the French Revolution, there was a group of people to the left of the, like physically to the left of the king or whatever, who wanted to erase the old way and start new. Create like a democracy without a king, without a dictator, one that forgot all of the old stuff because it disgusted him. Those are the people who were physically to the left of the king. And physically to the right of the king were those that supported a monarchy and wanted to crack down and force control over these people. The left and the right have followed that same pattern throughout history. Revolutions hate the past so much that they want to erase it and sometimes even start with a brand new dating system, like year one. Dictatorships, or the right, usually glorify a fictional past, a mythical past that never existed, and want to get back to that past and claim that they are the only ones that can fix it and bring it back to that point. There's a constant struggle in politics in the world since day one between revolution and dictatorship. So somebody asks aptly, what mythical past do you want to get back to? You talking about going back to the 1950s when schools and neighborhoods were segregated, where people were drinking from black and white only water fountains? You want to go back to the 1920s? Hell, you want to go back to the 70s when women weren't allowed to own a house or a credit card or a bank? You want to go back to the 20s where women couldn't even vote? Or maybe the teens. I think they gained the right to vote in 1919 or something. You want to go back to then? Like where? Let's go back another 50 years. You want to go back to when slaves existed? Like where people were forcing slaves to work on their plantations? You want to go back even further, another 50 years, where the church controlled the government in some states? Where? Where do we go back to? There is no good spot back there because progress is inevitable in society. We will move forward and improve and change and grow as a country. We will. The direction that we go is up to you. So Mark Robinson, being to the right of the king, effectively, is saying, I want to go back to a mythical past.
Going back to Make America Great Again. The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees.
Black people were swinging from trees. I guess that means like black people were lynched in public.
I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote. Do you know why?
Oh, dear God, tell me why.
Because in those days, we had people who fought for real social change, and they were called Republicans. And they are the reason why women can vote today.
Okay, interesting. So the Republicans that were fighting for women's right to vote, were they left-wing or right-wing? Were they conservative or liberal, do you think? Republicans love to play this game. Oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves and he was a Republican. Was he left-wing or right-wing? He was left-wing. There was a party switch. Let's drop the names Republican and Democrat, and let's just talk about left or right. You're saying you want to go back to a time when the left was fighting for social change? Hey, that's what we're doing now. This is the issue of our day, right here. This stuff. We want to improve the lives of the people around us, just like the suffragettes wanted to improve the lives of people in their day. It's the exact same thing. Oh yeah, and guess what? The suffragettes did not glorify a mythical past. They wanted revolution.
Those days that he talked about when black folks were swinging from trees, guess who it was out there fighting?
The left-wingers. Yeah, the left was fighting for people to not be lynched in public.
To bring that to an end, to bring Jim Crow to an end. It was Republicans.
Yeah, the left. Absolutely. Right. And he's on the right. He is the antithesis of what those people stood for.
So that's the America we want to bring back. We want to bring back the America where Republicans and principles and true ideas of freedom rule.
So he wants a system where the left is in control of the government then? So is he running as a Republican or a Democrat? Is he running left wing or right wing? I don't understand. No, I understand perfectly, actually. I think it's him that doesn't understand.
That's the America we want to bring back. That's why I'm a Republican. I'm a Republican because of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the
I'm a Republican because I'm left leaning and I want progressive change. What? Is he lying knowingly? Is he aware that Republicans 50, 60, 75 years ago were on the left? Or is he just like completely oblivious to history?
I'm a Republican because of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution and the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. I'm a Republican because whenever you look at true, honest to God, social change for the better.
It's been the left. Every single time, yes. The people on the left have been working at this for centuries. Yep.
At the top, leading the charge, is a Republican.
No, it's been a left-winger. For the past 50 years, since Nixon's Southern strategy, his strategy to bring in Dixiecrats, the Southern racist white Democrats, as they called themselves, the right-wing Ku Klux Klan people. Since Nixon's plan to bring those people in, Republicans have been on the right. And there's a lot of confusion during this transition from Republicans being on the left to Republicans being on the right. There's so much confusion, in fact, that you can see. Look at this map. Here, let me pull it up. And look at this. Look, this is the election map that Nixon had. Nixon appealed to Dixiecrats, Southern racist white Democrats in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, all those areas. And he won every state but Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. Do you know why that is? Because every other state, like Pennsylvania, New York, California, they were used to voting for the left-wing Republicans. But Nixon flipped the parties. And the people in the South, the Ku Klux Klan members, realized that. They said, we're voting Republican because that's the right-wing candidacy now. So you get left-wing voters voting Republican and right-wing voters voting Republican because of Richard Nixon. And you end up with a map like that. We shouldn't even really be using the terms Republican and Democrat in these types of contexts. It should only ever be left or right. Anyway, does he know that he's completely full of shit, or is he oblivious to it? Tell me what you think about it in the comments.